Well, we are now live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to World at War Comics. Man, this is really exciting. We have a awesome team behind Infernoct Volume 1, which is live on Kickstarter right now. We got 13 hours to go. So that's why we're going live, to encourage everybody that's watching to head over to Kickstarter right now and make sure that you back this. I'm going to go ahead and take the link, copy it, and paste it in the comment section for everyone to head over there. But it is such a pleasure to have you on, Eli, Mina, and John. Thank you for joining me today. It's an honor to have you. And real quick, maybe we'll just kind of go around the horn and you could introduce yourself. Mina, if it's okay, if we could start with you, and then we'll go to Eli and then John. Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Mina Elwell. I'm the writer and co-creator of Infernoct, and a couple of things you might know, like Halicious, and I just had something from the horror series Chain Letter, and Haunted Box, which I also do with John.
Nice.
I'm Eli Powel, artist and co-creator of Infernoct. Some of my most recent work was Still and Ravage, published by Invader Comics, and I've done some stuff before that, like Yakuza Demon Killers. I was the artist on Red Rising for Dynamite and a handful of other projects here and there. But I just came from Emerald City Comic Con, where I picked up some con crud, so I'm still getting over that. But yeah.
That's all. We were just talking about some of the crud that we collect, so I think that's awesome. Yeah. All right, Mr. John, you want to go ahead, sir? Can you hear us, John?
Got me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I don't see the other guys, but
you can't slow down.
Yeah,
maybe. I'm John Santana. I am the publisher of Iron Age Comics, and I've written a few comics now for the last several years. I published and co-wrote and co-created the Haunted Box with Mina and another one of our partners, AC Medina. I've done superhero comics with Jaded. I've done sci-fi comics with Everhounds, and Infernoct is my first time publishing 100% other people's work, because I just love Infernoct so much and I want to see more of it. So that's why we're here.
That's incredible, John. It does look absolutely amazing. And congratulations on the project we love from Kickstarter. That is obviously one of those items that every creator wants to go after. And so congratulations on that. That means that Kickstarter really loves what you're doing as well. So before we kind of jump into the actual Kickstarter, I would love to maybe go in the way back clock. And Mina, why don't you start us off? If you could kind of share with us how you got into comics, how you got into storytelling, where did this passion for storytelling come? And was there someone involved in your life that really kind of geared you towards storytelling?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I think the person probably most responsible for my love of comics is my dad, Tristan Elwell, who's actually the colorist on Infernoct, which is a fun full circle there. That's awesome. You'd be surprised how often our names all get swapped, considering there's 2 Elwells and 1 Powell. We've had some real options. I don't know. I've been telling stories for a long time. I was kind of a sick kid, so like I was home a lot, telling stories to myself. I have like hundreds of pages of writing that I did just for me. Like I didn't do anything with them as a child. There's definitely another universe where I'm still just doing it just for me. But this time we're sending it out into the world instead of keeping it there.
I love that. I love that. Do you have a few other things that you're kind of holding in your back pocket that one day you would like to maybe produce as a comic book, maybe on Kickstarter?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I have a kind of a YA horror called One of the Ghosts that I wrote like the entire thing of, and I haven't started to put it out there yet. Yeah. So maybe someday you'll see that too. But speaking of hundreds of pages just living on my laptop.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Shows your passion. How about you, Eli? Storytelling for you, my friend. When did that begin? When did you start creating things that you thought, man, this could probably go a little bit further than me just sketching during class when I should be listening type thing.
Well, kind of like Mina, my dad is a published author, so I got my kind of storytelling chops influences from him. And then my grandfather in his retirement was an artist, and we watched like Bob Ross, those shows together and stuff, and painted along with them. And then kind of I picked it up in middle school, like started drawing my own comic sketches and stuff like that. And it just, as I became more like advanced with and familiar with the materials and mediums and stuff, that kind of dictated my direction and where I went, like storytelling wise, and phoned my master craft and got that out and stuff like that. But yeah, like,
that's awesome. That's awesome. And then John, be careful, my friend. I know you're driving, but get a little background, so I hit mute if that's okay. But man, I would love to maybe hear from you where storytelling began in your life.
Sure. I guess it came from my love of comics. As 7 years old, my uncle gave me my first comic books, and I fell in love and started making my own comics. You know, I didn't grow up to be an artist, but I was drawing and writing comics even back then, without realizing that it's something that you could grow into doing. It was just fun for me, and so I just did it. And I'll honestly say, playing with toys like He-Man and G.I. Joe and making up my own, stories and sound effects and everything, that counts, right?
Absolutely.
So it all
I used to play with action figures too.
I still do.
Yeah, right. So then when I got to college, I went to film school because I thought that that's what grown-ups did. If they have love for the arts and writing, they would get into screenwriting or making movies, because back at the time I couldn't possibly think that you could make enough money making comics, and I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But I do have the passion for it still, and even though I had a great time learning about film and screenwriting, my passion was in comics. So as my life went forward and in getting the normal 9-to-5 job, I always kept a foot in the door with comics and continued to create.
Yeah, I love that, John. I think that's very relatable. All right, Mina, can you give us kind of a little bit of an elevator pitch of what fans can expect from Infernoct?
Yeah, so Infernoct follows Sam, new to the adult world, trying to get her life on track after being kind of a burnout in high school. And she gets the first and only job that she feels that she's qualified for, which is taking care of a mysterious old man who lives in a building she thought was abandoned in her rural hometown. And pretty quickly, we start learning that there's a reason that the man lives the way he lives, and he's seen some things, and she's, in a way, going to become his successor.
I love it. I love it. So I'm going to pull it up right now. Bear with me. Coming up right now. Sorry. Here we go. I usually do like What's up? Bedazzle is in. What's up, Bedazzle? All right, here we go. I'm also almost 50, so everything I do looks like I'm 50, including trying to pull up something.
That's me as well.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's not just me. All right, here we go. All right, can everybody see it?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So I am a backer. I thought it looked freaking amazing. The art, by the way, Eli, it looks phenomenal. So yeah, it is pretty cool. Let's kind of walk through it here. Maybe you could walk through a couple of the covers, Eli. I don't know if you were doing the covers as well, or do you have guest artists that are doing the covers? I would love to hear your perspective on the art on the covers, if that's okay.
Yeah, I did all the covers. I think we did like 2 for each issue, 4 issues total. And then we had these like chapter splash pages that we did at the beginning of each chapter as well, that serve, in my opinion, as like standalone covers too. So that's for chapter 1, obviously. But these are all based on like different characters that are in the chapter, I guess, and kind of haunting and leave something to be desired, you know. And yeah.
Can you kind of talk a little bit about this character, if it doesn't give anything obviously away in the story? Is there much, or Mina, you could jump in too, either of you, maybe give us a little background of who we're looking at right here?
Mina, you want to start off and I can fill in?
Oh, yeah. So this is our monster hunter. There's a lot of him in the back matter, but also in the present. You're going to connect him to, this is him in his younger, more vital form. And you're going to see him over time as, you know, his job has taken a toll on him. But so he's...
Yeah, this character, Mina kind of gave me some starter points to go off of, and then I like brought it visually to life, I guess. But like it was a really fun one to draw because, like, you see he's got all these tools on his belt and like a janitor's uniform and like a gas mask and some kind of crazy hat on and stuff, and like I don't know, yeah.
He looks awesome. I can't wait to get into it with that tool belt. You kind of wonder what he's fixing, if I could say that word.
Yeah.
Is that fair enough? Without giving too much away?
He's doing his best.
Okay, sounds good. I love that. I love that. Well, let's check out kind of the goals right now. I mean, let's go back to the top real quick. Congratulations, you have surpassed your goal. But I mention this every single time that we have someone on doing a Kickstarter. We know that it costs a lot more than usually what the creators are asking for. So anything you could do above and beyond that, you know, I think, John, you mentioned it. You were worried about being profitable in comics, and you're still kind of wondering if it's possible. I've been wondering for a few years myself. So it's definitely passion driving this, but we want to obviously drive past that number. And then hopefully that could lead to other great things that you all have planned. Let's go through some of the stretch goals because we have reached, looks like 3 stretch goals so far, and we're very close. Or did we hit it? Yeah, we hit the next stretch goal too.
Oh, nice.
So maybe walk through the stretch goals if you could, Mina.
Oh yeah, this is really, I think, for John. I know John, is our publisher, but I don't know. Can you read them at the moment, or no? Will you crash the car?
Don't get in an accident, John.
No. Just ask the question again because I lost it for a second.
Oh, we were just talking about what the different stretch goals are that people can shoot for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the first stretch goal, I mean, we've hit the first 3, and by the time we're on this live, I haven't looked in.
We're up to 4.
Hour. We're so close to the 4th one.
We hit it, John.
We hit it. All right. So here's the stretch. You get a poster of my favorite page in the whole book. I had to make it a poster. It's Sam in front of the giant Infernoct creature. We've got a soft touch laminate caress cover, which I just love the feel of it. It's smooth like velvet. It's awesome. So that's an upgrade. Then the best ones that we could come up with were more pages for a future volume. So the 2,500 stretch goal was for the digital versions of those first 5 pages of the next volume. And now that we just hit our 3,000 stretch goal, it's those same pages included in the physical copies as well. So you get a preview into volume 2, which we can't wait to launch coming soon.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So there's still a couple more to go after, right? So that same favorite cover or page of yours, John, looks like that could be a cover add-on if we could get to that next goal. And then that last one is an 11 by 17 upgrade, right?
That's right. And making that a cover would be really, really awesome. We'll just make it available as an add-on. It's really late in the game to be able to like include it as a reward. We can definitely make it as an add-on for those who feel like they're going to be super fans, because this really is a great book, and that is a great cover.
I love it. Thank you, John. All right, let's jump into some of the interiors here. Obviously, without giving too much away, one thing that I do have so much respect for from artists like you, Eli, is the background. I don't think background gets enough, like artists who really go heavy on background don't get enough credit for the detail that they add to the title. This is one of the selling points actually for me as well. Obviously you usually have whatever is going on between a couple of characters that have been created. Some artists, and I get why it happens, right? They kind of simplify it because maybe they have a huge workload and whatnot, but mad respect for the amount of detail that went into the background, Eli. This is phenomenal. I mean, every car, including this little tiny blue one all the way in the back. I mean, you know it's a car, right? Which is incredible.
Yeah, like a lot of background that I respect is like the detail, but also the perspective of the drawing and how to lead the eye through the page and through the panel, how to add depth to it and stuff like that. And that like comes with, just practice and math, I guess you could say. But I'm bad at math, but I'm decent at drawing perspectives. Let's say that.
Well, it certainly shows here, Eli. I mean, it looks phenomenal, man. And I think we have some folks that agree too. Chris, thank you, man.
One of my favorite things about the way that Eli does the backgrounds in these stories is that there's hidden stuff in there. We've talked about this before, but you'll find like, I don't know if there's any on this page, but there definitely is on a later one in these first 5. You'll find like hidden messages written in it. There's stuff in this book that I don't know about. Like every time I go back through, I'm like, oh, that's also really scary.
I love it. Easter eggs, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Another page right here. You want to walk us through this as much as you can?
Yeah, so this first, this is not Sam. This is our monster hunter. And we kind of open with him because he's her predecessor. We see what he was trying to accomplish, or at least we see him trying to accomplish it. And he's in one of these very desolate landscapes that you'll find all through the book. He's kind of going into this old parking garage and finding the under levels. It's just something I think Eli and I got very into the idea of what these environments that have been, I guess, infested by something monstrous would look like.
Sort of like busted down buildings, like abandoned buildings, decaying buildings, and especially like office parks and parking garages and like stuff that kind of steal your soul, I guess. Yeah.
And I'm making an assumption here, but maybe that's why some of these buildings are abandoned, right? Because something has probably happened in the past, maybe?
Yeah, either everyone had to abandon it to survive or they did not survive. Because you notice all these cars are still here. It takes a lot to leave your car.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I would face some monsters before I got a new car.
Fair point. And then as I talk about detail, man, I actually really love this page too. I just feel like some of this kind of stuff just takes forever, and you got to appreciate it.
This is the one that if you take a quick, like if you're able to zoom in there, I swear like most of the shading on this page is words.
Yeah, I don't remember what I put in there or if it's even true, but it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I see something right here.
There's stuff in here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Graveyard. Yep. I think it might be better when you have this in your hand to be able to see it. So when I zoom, it kind of fades a little bit, but I see UFO back here. I see different things. So
I would say that's a reason to get the physical copy. You can go in with your magnifying glass and take a look at Eli's notes.
I love it. It's so fun. I don't know. I love it. That's why I love comic books. And then this one is pretty amazing. So this house has to have some sort of significance, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the site of Sam's new job.
I think we should leave it there, but I cannot wait to find out what that entails.
Yeah, well, you're going to see her instructions as you scroll down.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good.
These are in order. These are the first pages of the book when you open it up.
Oh, okay. Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, that definitely provides context. So, and hopefully Joey makes it. That's all I'll say. I don't know.
Joey's my my stealth favorite character.
Is it really?
Love him, yeah.
So Joey plays a little bit bigger role?
Yeah, he'll be back. He's one of Sam's friends from her chill high school days, and he doesn't fully understand why she's getting a job, but he's supportive enough to drive her.
Yeah, there you go. And so far, it's the only car that actually is working.
A functional car.
Functional,
so you know that the infestation is not at that level.
Yeah. I love it. Sam looks pretty awesome. Great work. So here we go. Here's some of those instructions I assume you were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. Looks cool. Little hidden note or a note that was found. Yeah, so I love this. Actually, on the thumbnail, I put this character. I thought, man, this guy looks freaking awesome. And you kind of wonder how long he's been sitting there.
Just like shivering to himself.
And obviously darkness must play a role too, right, Mina? Because there's a lot of lights there.
Yeah, you got to figure, I mean, either he's fully crazy or there's a reason for what he's doing, or both is also allowed.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That reminds me, Mina, something I've been meaning to ask both of you guys. How much of crazy is him being senile or having Alzheimer's or something?
I mean, Eli may have a different perspective, but I think, for me at least, a lot of what the creatures do in decaying both people and places around them is reflective of stuff in the real world like that. It is a real thing that happens, but in the context of this world, it's a corruption coming from an outside force.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think Mina said it in another talk, but it's kind of plays with your mental health a little bit too. The creature, instead of just like physical attack, it's like an attack on your mentality or whatever it's called. So, yeah.
Well, so far, this is my favorite image. I love it. If you just look at this, there's a lot that you could kind of come up with without even jumping into the book yet to kind of understand how far whatever is taking place in this world that you've created, how far it's actually gone to be able to do this to somebody. Now, go ahead, please, Mina.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it's she's coming in for her first day on the job. She has no idea what this is, but his story has been going for a long time already.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this will give it away, but is Sam more of like a caretaker and her role changes when she enters into this house, or am I asking too many questions?
Eli, do you want to answer, or do you want me to jump in there?
Well, isn't she like she's never really had a job before in my interpretation, and this is kind of her being thrown into her first job as a caretaker for this old man, and shit's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, her responsibilities, I mean, already from that note, we've all had a weird high school job. Her responsibilities are well outside of the normal things that you'd be expected to do. So she's coming in with the expectation that she's going to be like, I don't know, maybe cooking and cleaning for him, but that's obviously that's not what he has in mind.
Right.
I always read it, and what I love about it is it's her first job. She doesn't know this is weird. Right? She doesn't immediately realize that this is the outside of the norm, what's being asked. I just love that aspect.
Yeah, I think if you were 30, you'd be like, I'm not doing, I'll call the police for you. Like, I'm gonna.
I think just pulling up to this might have me, Joey, let's just go somewhere else, man.
You're like, wait, no one lives here.
Yeah, there's no way someone lives here. Yeah.
I mean, if you had to jump the fence to get to your job, you probably would go home.
I think that is a very fair assessment. But I love it, man. The art is amazing. Let's look into the 2 covers that are available now. So here's cover A and cover B. How many pages is it? Oh, 120, right?
Yes. Yeah, including some back matter. I'm trying to think how much fully like colored lettered panel pages we have. Do you know that, Eli?
I want to say like at least 80 to 85, 88 maybe, like colored pages, and then like extras and covers and bonus content.
There's some prose as well, some like prose stories in there that give a little context to what's going on.
That is cool. So here are your 2 options. The link is right here. Head over there and make your pick. Get both of them if you're a collector. And then here's the premium cover, which it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, all of them will be the soft laminate now that you hit that goal, right?
This is a John question.
Sorry,
John. Can you hear us, John?
Yes. But
yeah, he might be in a bad area.
Yeah, that's my understanding too, though.
with a spot UV. Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We got you.
Now we can, yeah.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes. That's okay. Then there's a retailer pack, which is always really important. So anybody that has a retail store or other fans of indie, man, it would be great for you to even go into your stores. I know we only have 13 hours. Are you doing the kind of the late? Did you sign up for the late editions just in case people miss it? Kickstarter now has a new function that when it ends, you could kind of do like they won't get all the extras, but they can get the comments they want.
Yes,
there will be late pledges enabled.
Perfect. Beautiful. So let's get out to our comic shops and tell them about this. They might have already heard it since this is kind of the collected work, but it would be awesome for some retailers to pick this up too. And then if you want to know more about Mina and Eli, here is a lot of the background, which I know they shared a lot of it, but very cool as well. And then the same risk and challenges that every indie creator has, which shouldn't be new to anybody.
But I will say less so because the book is done. So
the book is done.
It
That's
ships almost as soon as it goes to the printer as soon as we finish the campaign.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So I would love to ask Mina and then Eli, as this is now complete, what does this kind of rank in some of the other work that both of you have done? I mean, obviously this is your latest work. As far as, genre and the work that went into this, can you kind of talk about that and where that ranks in your professional career?
For me, this is the most adult. This is the furthest on the spectrum of horror. All my stuff is spooky, but sometimes it's spooky and cute. Sometimes it's spooky and funny. This is the furthest into pure horror, which is great for me. I mean, Haunted Box as well is also pure horror. But for a full-length story, I will say I think, volume 2 maybe a little scarier, but we'll see.
And how far along are you on volume 2, Mina?
The story is done. But the only pages that exist so far are those first 5 that you guys are going to get now.
Sweet. That's exciting. And then Eli, for you, as far as genre, where does horror rank, or do you normally do horror? And is this not new for you?
Yeah, this isn't that new for me. I do mostly horror. I've done one sci-fi sort of book, but it was still kind of gritty. But this is definitely my first sort of like Lovecraftian horror with like the more monsters and tentacles and like stuff like that. Mainly monsters. Like I've drawn like a lot of people, killing each other and like ghosts, I guess you could say, zombies and stuff like that, but not as many like new original monsters. And there's quite a few in the book, so that was a new one for me. Yeah.
That's awesome. And do you have a favorite monster so far?
In this book, I'm sure I do, but I can't tell you because I don't want to give it away. But
don't do that.
I think I know your least favorite monster was the chapter 2 critter.
Oh yeah, I'm scared of those. Yeah, but it was fun to draw.
I remember getting a text from Eli that was like, "I've been working on the monster, but I do not like looking at for so long."
and because it is a horror genre, is there like another comic book that you feel has kind of influenced maybe the story or your love for this kind of writing? Maybe we'll start with you, Mina, and then you next, Eli.
I think, it's not a comic, but in terms of like my horror sensibilities, if you've heard of Thomas Ligotti before, he is my kind of ultimate horror person, because I like just enjoy horror recreationally. I like having it on in the background. I like, reading something quick for fun. And Ligotti is an author that I read and I'm like, oh, I feel weird and bad. So like I consider him like the sort of ultimate, because his other work is philosophy, which is extreme end of a spectrum anti-natalist nihilism, which is not who I am as a person, but it, like, the way that it influences his work is super interesting to me. And so I try to think about like what about that is so much more unsettling to me than other stories. And I think that had the most, like, you won't see any direct parallels there, but I think that had the most like influence on me writing horror.
Yeah, I'm not familiar, so I have to check that out. That sounds amazing.
It's very disturbing.
Very cool. How about you, Eli?
Well, I can't really think of any books that influenced this, but like I have a few artists that I like their work, like Jock, Sean Murphy, Brian Boland, going all the way back to my childhood, maybe like Joan Vasquez and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, Sean's known as the car guy, right? So
yeah,
maybe
I can't draw cars as well as him. I can't draw cars as well as him, but he gets all technical, But
I don't think anybody can. That's what he's kind of known for. So that's pretty awesome. But that's a pretty good list of artists for sure.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, incredible. How about you, John? If you're able to, and you can hear us, you seem like you're coming in pretty clear. As far as the production of this title under your publishing responsibility. This isn't your first horror, is it?
No, I've done a couple horror books. I've done a lot more gore focused horror. This though is right up my alley. I am into Lovecraft. I've never written anything like it before, but I did love it as soon as I saw it. And this has got that feel, that vibe to it of the ancient ones, the elders. So I picked up on it right away. The fact that Sam, the main character, sort of picking up a mantle so unwittingly is something that I really connected with and I really enjoyed. So yeah, absolutely.
I love that. And then Mina and Eli, while John is driving, I would love to know how this connection was made with Iron Age Comics. Did you work on something before with John, or was it really just John like, oh man, I love this, and then it just kind of came together?
John and I met at a convention a long time ago when I had some Infernoct stuff with me. But we started working together on Haunted Box, the horror anthology series, which is also Iron Age. So, and I also worked with John on a live horror experience, which you did for like months and months. It was very cool. But yeah, so we've been doing spooky stuff together for a long time.
I love it. And how about you, Eli?
I'm new to Iron Age Comics, so I'm glad to meet him, and I'll probably shoot him some more of my books in the future.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, as creators, right, trying to find the right publisher for your work sometimes could be difficult, right? Because it's your baby, it's your creation. So I think it's always awesome when the right publisher meets the right creators and they come together to bring awesome stuff like this to the fans. So congrats to all three of you for making this happen. I love it. How about you, John?
Well, can I just add to that?
Please.
One of the things that inspired me to ask, to be part of Infernoct was, I won't say anything disparaging about the previous publisher, but it's like they didn't know what they had on their hands. They didn't show it enough love. That's how I felt as a creator, knowing Mina, and I wanted to give this book that I loved an opportunity to have more life, and I feel blessed to be able to do that. It's kind of awesome to be a fan of something and then be a part of allowing it to continue. So I love that.
That's awesome, John. Now let's talk a little bit about Comic-Cons. I know, Eli, you and I were talking, I think before we hit the record button, you went to Emerald City, which is awesome. You said you've been to Rose City. So I assume you live up in kind of that area.
Yeah, I live in Seattle right now.
Very cool. Yeah. That's awesome. So, and how about you, Mina? Where are you kind of what state are you located in? And is there plans for all three of you maybe to come to a Comic-Con where fans could come and meet you and maybe get their books signed?
It would be very nice. We did New York together one year, but I think that was because I am in New York. I'm a little bit upstate from the city, but most of the conventions I go to are around that area. Like I'll do, I do New York Comic-Con. I do Brooklyn a lot. I really like it there. And then I went to some more horror conventions. I've only done one or two before. We don't have a schedule yet, do we? But I'm planning to do a bunch of cons coming up at the end of the year and then next year as well. Because I have Infernoct coming back, and then there'll be Volume 2 to promote. John and I are working on another called Abattoir 6, which will be out then as well. And then I have some work with Paper Cuts for the still spooky but slightly less spooky crowd.
Oh, Paper Cuts with Mad Cave?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, congrats. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. They're also awesome.
They are.
It's a very different experience. John, I just call on the phone and scream my ideas for a while because we hang out.
I love it. I love it. So I assume you're up there too, John. I know we talked a little bit as well. As far as Iron Age Comics, do you have you started a calendar of where you might be from a con standpoint?
So I know this year I'll be at Terrificon in I think it's August this year, and I'll be at Terrificon, which is Connecticut. I know I'll be at Brooklyn, and I know I'll be at a very, very small con in my backyard in Fishkill, New York. I don't have anything else on the schedule because this is my busiest year making comics, and I don't want to mess up that schedule. So this year, I really want to put the grind into making comics. I mean, I'm looking to launch 6 projects, this being the first of the year, this year alone, which is very aggressive for me, but everything's lining up to work that way. And then next year, I'll hit the con schedule hard with all the projects I launched this year and the projects I'm launching next year.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. And then, John, just for fans listening, Iron Age Comics, how do they follow you? Is there a site where they could go to pick up, other titles under your publishing?
Yeah, the best place to go is at Iron Age Comics on Instagram or Iron Age Comics on Facebook. There's links in the Instagram and the Facebook to where you can pick up comics, and it's basically because I leave the option open in Kickstarter, like what you were talking about before, late pledges. Yeah. I leave that open, and I just continue fulfilling those. So that's the best way to do it right now.
Well, that's awesome, man. I love that. And then here we go. I dig Lovecraft. Eli's art looks great. I'm backing. Thank you, Chris. That's awesome. Sweet. There you go. Love it. That's awesome. So now, Mina, we'll start with you. How do fans follow you on social media? And do you have like a site that you like to kind of drive people to?
Oh yeah, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Theoretically, you can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter, but I'm not really on there anymore. And I'm just my full name, just Mina Elwell, on everything in the world. Awesome. Just asking to be accidentally tracked and doxxed.
Exactly. Aren't we all? How about you, Eli?
I pretty much only post my stuff on Instagram. You can just type in Eli Powel and it should pop up as Instaless Eli on there.
Instaless Eli, I love it.
Yeah.
So once we're finished here, I will upload this actually onto my YouTube page as well. That way I could put the link for those latecomers who aren't on right now watching that still would like to back. And then I'll make sure I put all of your socials and ways that they could get their hands on this amazing title with the Kickstarter. And then obviously for Iron Age Comics, John, I'll make sure everyone knows how to get all those other amazing titles from Iron Age. You're doing some amazing stuff. This one also is amazing. So everybody that's watching and listening, get over there and back it. You are getting a lot of story, a lot of amazing art, and a pretty awesome horror genre comic book, and I think you're going to really love it. I cannot wait to get my hands on mine. And the good thing is, according to Mina, it's all done. So all it has to do is go to the printer. So you're not waiting a long time to get your hands on this title after you back, which is always exciting when you're able to do that. John, Mina, Eli, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I apologize, just so everyone knows, we've been talking about doing this for over a week, but I was in Mexico for work. And then before that, I was at a big trade show. So it's my fault we're doing this in literally the 13th hour. But next time we need to have you on a lot sooner so we could get a lot of fans in front of this earlier. But I am super excited to get my hands on it. Congratulations on the finished work. As a creator, it's always awesome when it's finally done. And then you just wait and see how fans react to it, which, man, from what I'm seeing right now, if you love horror, this is the title for you. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks so much for having us, Tommy.
Yeah, thank you.
You're worth the wait.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Short notice. About 10 of you showed up, which is surprising since I put it out like an hour and a half before we went live. But I'm going to post this right away and hope for most of my fans that kind of wait for me to post things. I don't do a ton of live. That way they could jump on this and they still have plenty of time tonight to get over there and back. But congratulations once again. I hope we could do this again. I would love to have you back. And I wish you all an amazing weekend and an amazing week coming up.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Same to you. Bye-bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.